Aloha and welcome everyone to Maui Nonprofit Notes, the weekly radio show where we talk story with Maui's nonprofit executive directors and their staff to find out how they're working to support the needs within our community. Maui Nonprofit Notes is generously sponsored by Pacific Source. If you're building or remodeling a home, you've just got to stop by Pacific Source's cabinet and appliance showroom in the Waikapu Bayshard. I'm Susie Tiemann, Executive Director of Lokahi Pacific and President of the Maui Nonprofit Directors Association. And as our co-host this week, you're going to be a regular, aren't you?
I know. I think it was 3 times this month so far.
That's pretty good. Well, the month's almost over, so I guess you can't get another one in.
That's true. Oh, well, I think there's going to be more.
Yeah, I'm sure there will be. At least I hope so. Max Tornai, who's Executive Director of the Mediation Services Maui. How are you today?
Good. I can't believe it's already Wednesday and we're already back here in the studio.
Seems like we just did it.
I know.
Yeah.
But it's always great to be here. Today was... So far this week has been pretty low-key. A lot of good stuff happening with us. How are you guys doing?
January seems like the longest month on the calendar. What is it? Is it because of all the activity and the hyper stuff of Christmas and the holidays?
I think that's what I was going to guess, post-Christmas.
Letdown.
Yeah.
Or something.
But anyways, each week during this hour, we share the experiences of how our nonprofit agencies are working to benefit our beautiful island home with stories of how these organizations are changing lives, changing communities, and creating miracles of hope for those in need. And today, I think we're starting with Mike Morris from the Maui YMCA.
Right.
How
Michael, how are
Mike?
You?
Great, doing great, thank you.
Long time no see.
Yeah, I haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah.
I guess you've been busy.
Well, yes, that's true. But on the show, I think we've had Andy Justice.
You had Andy
and
Jason.
Jason. Both were
right.
here.
Yep.
And so I'm thrilled to see that somebody finally pushed you out the door and said, go be on the show yourself.
That's right. They said, we're tired of looking at you, so please, please go. So here I am.
Mike, it's always great to talk to you, and it has been a while since we've seen each other. I don't know, paths just don't cross.
I think it was a political campaign you and I were at. Might
Oh,
have
yeah.
been in Kihei, right?
Yep, I think so. I think
We
you're
were
right.
both there. Yeah.
And
It's been a while.
And since then, we were talking about the Zumba, the aquatic Zumba. And remember, you said something about get over here and do it.
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
It's a big craze right now. Zumba's really good. It really active. People love it. It's almost like a cult. And,
Uh-oh.
Yeah, but you got to come try it. It's really kind of neat.
And you offer it in the pool, twice a week?
Yeah, we do. Yeah. On land every day, probably twice a day, I think, and then in the pool 3 times.
Oh,
Yeah.
my gosh. That has really caught on.
Definitely, yeah. It's a craze now.
So what are we going to talk about today?
Well, I guess we'll talk a little bit about the why, since that's really all I know about.
Sounds appropriate.
And you think I don't get out much.
Recently, my job's changed a little bit. We focus at the Y, youth development, healthy living, and social responsibility. And a lot of my work, and when you talk to Jason, I'm sure you heard a lot about youth development and those kind of things. My work focuses on social responsibility and healthy living. And I spend a lot of time out of the office working with crews. Like we have a team called Pioneering Healthy Communities. And it has the mayor, the public works director, the planning director, whole bunch of great folks, Wes Lowe from the hospital on this team. And we talk about how we change the environment and how we look at policy change that help develop a healthier community. One of the reasons we're not as healthy as we want to be because it's just not safe in a lot of places to walk or ride a bike or do those kind of things.
Mm-hmm.
So part of what we're trying to work on are those issues that make it safer and make it more convenient for people to get out and do things, because we're not genetically engineered to be healthy. I mean, we're engineered to eat. That's what we do. I mean, and we're good at it as a country. So we need it really convenient for us to eat better. We need it convenient for us to exercise and do those kind of things. So part of my job is working on that. The other is in socially responsible organization like the Y and a charitable organization like the Y. Fundraising is a big deal for us. Mm-hmm. And on March 1st, we're launching our annual support campaign. We have a keynote speaker this year. Former NBA coach Don Nelson will be our keynote speaker
Wow.
at the luncheon.
Good.
Now he's in the Hall of Fame,
Yep.
which is kind of
Yep.
cool. But he started his basketball life, I guess, at Hawaii, which was really kind of neat. And you get to hear his story at that luncheon. It's free. People can come. I say it's free, but we're going to expect you to raise money for the Y if you come. So feel free to come. So that's on March 1st at noon at the Y, and we'll have some poo-poos and a nice little deal. And I'm sure Don will do a great job doing a speech. And the reason we do it is there are folks in our community that don't have access to all of the programs the Y offers. Either they found themselves in difficult situations or economically they can't afford it. And the Y has a policy, and we set a board policy, I think about 12 years ago, that said we're never going to turn anyone away due to inability to pay. Mm-hmm. And at first it was easy to do that because we were giving away $20,000, $30,000 a year in financial assistance. Mm-hmm. 2 years ago we gave $97,000.
Oh, wow.
Last year we did $190,000 in financial assistance. So it gets very challenging for us to raise that kind of money. So it's very important. But the impact that it makes on people's lives is exactly the kind of work, and exactly the kind of work that I want to be doing, that the Y is doing. And I really love that part of our program. And I know you have somebody here that has seen the benefits of that. And I'd love for her to tell her story and talk just briefly about what she's seen, that the Y has had an impact on some folks' lives.
Okay, and Mike's talking about Kamiki Carter, who is with the MEO Head Start program, or Early Childhood Services. And so we're going to bring her onto the microphone here real quick and have her tell a story that she knows for true, huh?
Yes, I do. On a personal note, I was sharing with Mike earlier that my family had personally had been fortunate to have been blessed with that financial assistance program. My two boys, one of them who have special needs, he was able to be part of the summer program, and having a child with special needs going into a big program isn't easy. And so Jason, who is program manager, yes. I mean, he was very, very awesome as far as sitting down with my husband and I and willing to, create a plan that was best for my son, and, let me know what was the cans and they, what was their policies and procedures, and how he was just so really open to wanting to work with our family and wanting to have my son be a part of the program. Well, it didn't stop there. After the summer program ended, I was fortunate to hear that the YMCA was taking over the A+ program over at Kihei School, and that's where my children attended. And I was just jumping for joy and, hey, Jason, can you help me? And, it was talk about consistency. It was him sitting down with his staff and talking to his staff. And Jason, it's Maka Eva. This is his mommy. But, they really sat down with me, talked me through a lot of things, shared not only, the challenges, but a lot of the positive things that was going on, some of the things that he was working on in the program. So, I know the Y is here in Kahului, but it just, the feeling of being accepted it is not only there, and I'm very thankful for that. So I can personally say that, like how I shared with him, I'm such a big advocate when it comes to the YMCA. In the role that I play at MEO, I refer my families over to to the various community agencies, and every year for the summer program, I always share with them, hey, this is what's available at the YMCA. And they're so expensive. I'm like, you know what? If money is an issue, you guys can go and apply for the financial assistance program, and I'll walk them through it, and they have such a I don't have to worry about
like a weight lifted off.
Exactly. And to know the quality care that they provide, it's just such a positive thing, and
some love happening
exactly.
right now.
I just wanted to share, I know of a family who this past winter break had sent all of their children to they're going through some challenges at this time. Confidentiality, of course, I'm inclined to share a lot, but their current residents at the Kahaleake'ola shelter, their children, all of their children were fortunate to have been a part of the winter intercession camp over in Kahului. Transportation as well as the actual program was offered to them for no cost.
Wow.
And this particular family, oh, I'm going to cry. This particular family is so thankful and has expressed their gratitude towards the program, had expressed her gratitude towards the Kahaleake'ola case manager, and just advocating on behalf of their program, on behalf of their family. And, it was just funny because when we first met walking in, it was just like, it was easy to talk to Mike, and it was just like, hey, I can go off about you guys' program in a positive way. So, yeah, just to share some really just something small about how it impacted my life, as well as it continues to impact my life with the families that I support.
Well, it sounds like it's not really that small of an impact. It sounds like it was actually pretty big. Yes. But how old is your son, or how old are the children that were participating in the winter program?
My children now are 13 and 11 years old. So my 11-year-old is now in 6th grade, and A+ was a part of his oh my gosh, I want to say 3rd grade is when they took over the A+ over at Key School, and it was from there. And he had challenges prior with he was kicked out before, and so when the Y came, and I had that relationship with Jason, it was just really easy to kind of transition him back into the A+ experience.
And I think that's something that every time we talk with somebody from the Y, there's a story that comes up. Either right after I leave the studio, after the show, or during that week, that hey, you had so and so from the Y on. There is no one over there that you can't approach, and they talk to you like you're their best friend. The first time you go in is asking questions. They answer them. They truly give answers.
So the care is there, the respect is there,
right from the front door.
Very approachable.
Mike,
am I right on? Yeah, we appreciate that, and we take that very seriously. Yeah. We one of the requirements we have for our front desk staff is they learn everyone's name, and we have around 3,900 members.
Wow.
And believe it or not, they are so good. They actually know everybody's name. I'm like, how do you guys do that? I want you to know that, but I can't believe you do know that. So
it's a lot of people.
It's amazing. But I love the stories. It's funny, the perception that people have of the Y is that we're a gym and a swim, that you come and you work out and you're a weight room, or you come and you swim at the Y, or I learned swim lessons and that kind of thing. And most people don't know we're one of the best kept secrets in our charitable side of what we do. And it's the part of why we're there and who we are. And we want people to know that. And unfortunately, the only ones that really know that are either our donors or the people who have been impacted with it. And it's great to have this kind of forum where we can get out and tell our story about who we are and what we do. And I just love it. I think the Homeless Center program that we've been doing for about 12 years now, is one of my favorites. And it's expensive for the Y to do that, but it is so needed in this community that it doesn't matter what the cost is. We'll find a way to do it, and we'll always find people who are willing to help us make that happen.
In 12 years, you've impacted a lot of lives from the homeless shelter.
Yeah, certainly have. So, anyway, anybody who wants to help, certainly you can help us by coming on March 1st. Again, just call us at the Y. Let us know if you want to come. 242-9007. You can call the Y and say, hey, I want to come to the meeting, find out what you guys are all about, and see what you do in your charitable work, and see how I can help out.
And that's a Friday, right?
Actually, a Friday at lunchtime.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So now you say the lunch is free, but one of the things you're going to kind of get handed as a packet to go out and try to raise some money for you.
So we're gonna educate you on what needs to happen next after that, and it's your choice whether you want to do that or not. We'd love to have people help us. And we need it. As
Yeah.
I said,
Right.
To raise 190,000 is going to be a real challenge for us.
Right. And we're gonna think about that as we take a commercial break here with Pacific Source. Thanks.
Aloha from Pacific Source, and thank you for your support over the years. Pacific Source has offered more of what builders and homeowners value most in building materials and cabinet design. We've done this by offering superior customer service and products, as well as by designing kitchens and baths that are intelligent and elegant while staying true to your vision and budget. Visit our showroom in Waikapu in Central Maui, where we display a variety of cabinets as well as top-name appliances like Sub-Zero, Wolf, Viking, KitchenAid, and more. We display countertops, tile and wood flooring, and several brands of windows and doors, including Fleetwood multi-slides and La Cantina folding doors. Come in and talk to our designers about making your dreams become a reality. From concept to completion, we really believe our attention to detail and superior service are what sets us apart. Let us show you what we mean. We are a Pacific Source at 515 East Oahe Way in the Consolidated Base Yard in Waikapu, just off Waiko Road. Call us at 986-0380. That's 986-0380, or look us up online at packsource.com.
And we are back. We're talking story with Mike Morris from the Maui Family YMCA on Maui Nonprofit Notes. Today's Wednesday from 12 to 1. I'm in the right place.
You are in the right
Okay.
place, Susie.
All right. Okay, good.
This is the show.
It's a great conversation, so I'm glad I don't have to leave. When we're talking about the impact that you make on these folks, whether they're homeless or just have some income issues and so forth, we're not talking about kids coming over there for fun and games. They're coming over there to learn something.
Right. And that's our, when we say youth development, that's what we mean. We're trying to take them from one spot and develop them into something that's a little healthier, or we always talk about we're professional role models.
There you go.
And that's what we try to do is certainly make sure that our staff are role models for these kids so that they have something to look forward to in their lives. So that's really key to us. The other issue in the country we're trying to deal with is, all of us are becoming overweight, and we're trying to deal with that, and it's very complex, and it's getting younger and younger, and the problems with it that we're causing ourselves is type 2 diabetes. Used to be an old man's disease, right? We're starting to see it as early as 11 and 12-year-olds
Oh my
now.
gosh.
And it's becoming an epidemic, basically. So one of the things we want to teach also is healthy lifestyles for folks. And again, it's a real challenge. There's so many things battling against that. The USDA and feeding kids in schools, and what their policies are on that, the way we've built our environments around the automobile now, the video games, the computers, everything. It's just a different world we live in, and it's becoming very challenging for us. But the biggest problem is our Medicare, Medicaid system, our medical system in general is being greatly impacted on it. With youth obesity and the rate we're at now, there are two things that really stand out. One is it's a $190 billion problem. The other is the Surgeon General from the CDC, or the commander from the CDC, made this statement that really got my attention about 4 years ago. He said the generation growing up as a result of this epidemic, the generation growing up now, today, for the first time in modern history, over 200 years, will not outlive the generation ahead of them if we don't make a change. So, we've had all these advancements in medicine, and we're spending all this money on how to treat it, but we're not spending any money on how to prevent it. And so it has become an epidemic. And we tend to ignore it because everybody says, well, it's a lifestyle choice. And I would beg to argue that it's really not. I mean, we are so bombarded, you really don't have a choice. People used to say that about cigarettes. That was a lifestyle choice. Let them smoke, let them kill themselves. They don't care, right? Well, it became bigger than that, right? It became an epidemic and was killing a lot of people. And we made policies and changes, and you can't smoke within certain distances. And I don't know exactly what those changes need to be yet, but we're certainly working on how we're going to change the environment we live in. I'm not saying that you can't go to fast food and you shouldn't sell that and do those kind of things. I'm saying there's got to be a way that makes it easier for people to be healthy.
And so what are some of the things that the Y is doing to combat that?
Well, obviously, one of the things is activity,
Mhm.
keeping people very active and those kind of things. One of the other programs we started is called Y Produce Express. And Y Produce Express is a delivery system for healthy fruits and vegetables. We teamed up with Kula Country Farms.
Nice.
And what happens is you fill out an order form, you turn it in at the front desk, and on Friday and then on Tuesday, all these fruits and vegetables show up in our office. I don't even have to go shopping. And that's how the program started. Now we're in 20 different places.
Wow.
20 different businesses, 2 of them schools. We're in Lehikai after school program and Polmaikai after school programs where the parents can fill out an order form, fresh fruits and vegetables, all kinds of great stuff right out of the dirt,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is really cool.
Really fresh.
And they show up to pick up their kids on Tuesdays, and there's their vegetables.
basket waiting.
So Kula Country Farms makes those deliveries every
They do,
Tuesday?
right? They make the deliveries. They take the order forms. They collect the fees for it, and
Uh-huh.
it's very reasonable. People, well, it's got to be really expensive. Well, it's about the same you'd spend going to Safeway or anywhere else, but you don't have to go shop, which is really kind of cool. So that's kind of our side of let's get people eating healthier, show them that there's healthier things. We also have a gardening program out in Kihei. So the kids learn about gardening and that kind of stuff and how to grow good fruits and vegetables and those kind of things.
It's good.
But the environment is a bigger issue. Everywhere we turn, there's food available. So availability of not so healthy foods is right there. The availability of healthy foods is not always there. So the Y Produce Express program is to hopefully get into some of these places where we have disparities in good food choices.
Mm-hmm. It's
So
making it more convenient for
Right.
those healthy foods to be available.
Right, because
Yeah.
it is two-pronged. If you ask the food industry, it's more. You need more exercise. You
Right.
need more exercise, and you can eat whatever you want. Just exercise more. But that is really not the answer. You've got to watch both sides of it, and that's really a challenge for us all.
And I think what I'm hearing you say is that gone is the day when you played outside all day and all night, until mom and dad said, "Come on in, get your bath, go to bed."
Right. Come in when the lights come on.
Yeah,
right? When
yeah,
the street
right,
lights come on.
right. And so you worked off all that
Mm-hmm.
food you ate, but your system built up this craving for those kinds of things.
Mm-hmm.
And then as you get older, you slow down,
Right.
and getting older can be going from 10 to 12
Right.
today,
Well-
as you sit down to do your video games and stuff instead of playing.
And it took us a while to get here, so it's going
Right.
to take us a little while to reverse it. And again, I think my focus is on the environment and how we change it. Just about every meeting I go into and I speak at, I ask people to raise your hand if you walk to school, and most people do. Then I say, raise your hand if your kids walk to school, and nobody raises their hands. And so that's the environment. How do we get kids from the neighborhood to their schools safely, where they can walk or ride a bike without getting run over by a car instead of driving them? So it's just simple little things like that we got to. I say they're simple; they're not that simple, but being able to provide access to and from places. So it's a challenge. It's something that if we don't make a trend, we won't be able to afford ourselves in the future. There's some great. We're going to start a 4-part video series that HBO came out with called The Weight of the Nation. And they'll start in February at the Y, and you can come view those for free in the evening. But it talks about this epidemic and how big it is, and then what we've got to do to change it. Because if we don't, we're starting a diabetes prevention program nationwide. The Y is that's trying to deal with that subject, and United Healthcare is the largest healthcare provider in the country. Home Depot is one of their clients and folks like that. They came to the Y and said, we will pay for all of our clients to take that program.
Wow.
And the Y said, well, why so generous? Why would you do that? And they said, because if we don't, in 7 years, we'll be broke. We will not be able to treat it. This is the largest healthcare company in the country saying that. So they understand the epidemic and understand that prevention is key to it. and we don't spend enough on prevention. We spend more on treatment.
Wow. I understand UH is going to start working on diabetes and obesity in their research programs. You know, they just finished that new cancer building, and so this is now the next step for them. I just heard that this morning in a meeting I was at, and I think, wow, that's great.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, because there needs to be more research on it, and you know, and you hear in the national news, you know, hey, we're limiting the size of a soda and that kind of thing. I don't know if that's the answer. You know, I don't know. You got to give people a choice, and right now we don't. The choice is the easiest thing for me and the cheapest thing for me to do is to stop into a fast food.
Right.
And until it gets easier for me to eat healthier foods, I'm not going to change. I mean, it's just the facts of the economy and time and those kind of things.
Yeah, where's the drive-through veggie bar?
Yeah, there you go. Drive-through Jamba Juice or something, right?
Yeah, you're right, Mike.
Yeah, so
And then we could talk for another half an hour, but I got
Yep.
some other people here.
I know. I want to let them talk here.
But so March 1st.
March 1st, yeah. Call me at the Y if you want. Again, our number is 242-9007. And come see me, feed you some lunch, and let you hear some great speakers.
What's your website if anybody wants to look you guys up online?
www.mauiymca.org.
Pretty easy.
Can't get easier than that.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So let's all get out there and help them raise their $190,000 that they need to continue these programs. That's just an incredible growth in services that you're offering. And doing all that in addition to your core services.
Right.
Or maybe that's your core service.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The other is our non-essentials, right?
Right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
But it pays the bills.
Exactly.
Yeah.
exactly.
So, Mike, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you so much for having me on the show. Thanks, Max.
Absolutely.
And we'll have to get you back and talk about some more of your programs.
Love to.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Michael.
Thank you.
Okay. Turning for the second half of the show today, we have two ladies from MEO's Early Childhood Services. Gosh, it's so hard. I'm sitting here looking at your shirt that says Head Start, and that's what it used to be called all over, right? All over the place. But we've got Ana Vasconcelos and Kamiki Carter.
You got it.
Hey, there we go. See, I can get them right sometimes.
Every once in a while you come through. No,
Oh, ouch. Oh,
I'm just kidding.
oh, you can get by with that. What's your name again?
I don't know. I don't even know anymore. But welcome to the show, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And what are we talking about today?
Well, today we wanted to talk about our open enrollment. We
Okay.
are going to be accepting applications for the upcoming program year, which is going to be 2013-2014, starting in February 1st.
Okay, so coming up.
It's coming up
Friday.
on
2 days,
Friday. Yes, so we're getting ready. We're busy in the office getting all
Yeah.
our applications ready and, getting ready to welcome all the families to come in and apply.
And I know one of the important things for families to know is that if they signed up last year and didn't get accepted or there weren't any openings, they do have to start all over again.
Reapply.
Yes, they
Very
do.
good memory. Thank you.
I learn on this show. Yeah.
Yes, they do have to come in and apply. We are going to be accepting applications for the children who are going to be turning 3 or 4 years of age that were born during January the 1st, 2009 through July the 31st, 2010.
Okay.
So those are going to be the children that are going to be age eligible. The families are also going to have to meet our selection criteria. So we do ask for families to bring in a form of income verification because that is our primary, what we look at when we are selecting families.
So what is that? Is that like a tax return or a
And
pay stub?
I'll go ahead and explain a
Oh,
little bit
great.
more. So as far as the documents as Anna had shared, one of the main things is going to be their child's birth certificate. They are going to need that. The income information is going to look like either 4 to 6 current pay stubs for all working either parent or legal guardian.
Okay.
2012 W-2s or the 2012 tax returns if they've already completed it.
Okay.
Also, or if they have their TANF statement, which is families who's receiving financial assistance through welfare, they will also need a copy of the I should say, I guess it's like an acceptance letter, or like how much they receive per month. And to be really clear, that parents and legal guardians are the only ones that can come in to apply for the children. Sometimes we have grandparents who live with, the keiki live with the grandparents, and unfortunately, grandparent doesn't have any kind of power of attorney or legal documents, and so we sometimes have to turn them away to kind of obtain that and come back. And so, kind of getting the message out there that parents and legal guardians, have to provide documents. So that's another document that they would have to provide.
Okay.
Um,
So I feel a lot of people in the community know what MEO, the early childhood services provide, but a lot of people don't. What kind of things, would these children ages 3 to 4 now be going through in a say day-to-day program?
Do they come to play or do they come to learn?
They come to learn.
Yeah.
And they are learning every single day. They're learning something new. And it's not, what I love about Head Start is that it's not just the children, it's the whole family. We're looking at a very comprehensive program. So we offer education services to children. Of course, they're coming into the classroom, they're learning social skills, which is going to be so important for them when they step their foot in to kindergarten. We're having a lot of kindergarten teachers telling us, some children are coming into kindergarten not even being potty trained or being around other children. So when they're coming to Head Start, they're learning those fundamental social development skills.
So it really sets a good foundation for them to move forward socially and academically and all those types of things. That's great.
and it's not only for the child, as we're talking about that, overall for the families as well, being able to recognize that the parents and the guardians are the number one teachers in their children's lives and advocators, and then encouraging them to be actively part and participate in volunteering within the program, and just setting them up so that they can advocate on behalf of their child, not only from now, but it's a stepping stone for them as they go into the DOE system, or as the child, whichever, grows. They can grow with the child as well. So it's just really setting that basic foundation, as you were just sharing.
Yeah, that's great.
It's the jumping off point.
Yeah.
Yes, it
Absolutely.
is.
And you want them prepared, and that's what Head Start does. Now, you've got, 13
We have
locations
13,
here
13
on Maui?
locations here on Maui. We have 2 classrooms on Molokai, in Kanakakai. And we have a partnership with our Kikio Lanai preschool in Lanai. So we do have part-day programs. We have full-day programs. And we also have inclusion sites, which we partner with the Department of Education. And at our inclusion sites, we service children who have special needs. So, we definitely support the children with special needs.
So what does inclusion mean? Does that mean that you're going to another agency to provide support, or going to the...
We partner with the Department of Education. So if there is a child with special needs, we partner with the Department of Education to try to enroll the child in our program.
Okay.
And what it looks like in the classroom, if you were to walk into an inclusion classroom, we have usually 4 teachers, or I should say 2 teachers. One is from Head Start, one is from the Department of Education, and then we have an EA, which is an educational assistant for the Department of Education, and a teacher aide for Head Start. You would not be able to tell who is who. And you would not be able to tell which child or which children have special needs. So it's basically to promote children to be in an environment with typically same age peers and engage in the same type of activities.
I feel that that's really important to start those experiences or those relationships at a really, really young age, because, you're growing up, and just because another child, another student has different needs than you do,
Right.
It doesn't mean that they're
Right.
so different that
Yes.
you can't relate to them like a normal person.
That's right. And it's teaching those children that do not have special needs, to be able to get along with everybody around them. And so it's teaching them a lot of, I wouldn't say a lot of tolerance, but it's just teaching them the basic social skills to get along with anybody who's around them. So we definitely foster those type of relationships in our program.
Well, that's great. And then so there are only some of your classrooms that would be
Yes.
appropriate for.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. We have 6.
Okay, great.
On a yearly basis, we get together with the Department of Education and determine how many we're going to be having for that particular year. So those meetings are going to be coming up. But typically we have 5 or 6 here
Gotcha.
on Maui.
Okay.
Yes.
Terrific. We need to take a short break. We'll be right back.
Aloha from Pacific Source, and thank you for your support over the years. Pacific Source has offered more of what builders and homeowners value most in building materials and cabinet design. We've done this by offering superior customer service and products, as well as by designing kitchens and baths that are intelligent and elegant while staying true to your vision and budget. Visit our showroom in Waikapu in Central Maui, where we display a variety of cabinets as well as top-name appliances like Sub-Zero, Wolf, Viking, KitchenAid, and more. We display countertops, tile and wood flooring, and several brands of windows and doors, including Fleetwood multi-slides and La Cantina folding doors. Come in and talk to our designers about making your dreams become a reality. From concept to completion, we really believe our attention to detail and superior service are what sets us apart. Let us show you what we mean. We are Pacific Source at 515 East Oahe Way in the Consolidated Base Yard in Waikapu, just off Waiko Road. Call us at 986-0380. That's 986-0380, or look us up online at packsource.com.
And we are back. This is Maui Nonprofit Notes, the weekly radio show where we talk story with our nonprofit agencies to find out how they're helping our community and the members of our community. And this afternoon, we're talking with Kamika Carter and Ana Vasconcelos.
Kamiki?
Thank you.
Did I say that right? Did I say it wrong? What did I say?
I think you said Kamika.
Kamika? Oh, I put an A on it instead of an I.
But we are
Kamika.
very happy to have you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Regardless of what your name is, we're happy
It's
that
okay.
you're serving the community and that
I'll
you're
get
here.
I'll get it before you leave.
Yes, you will.
Yes, I will. You got it. The Head Start program has always been fascinating to me because it's you think of the kids of perhaps well-to-do families used to be the ones who got to go to preschool, and that was kind of a special thing. But what you've been able to do is to open that special thing up to everyone.
Yes. Well,
Regardless of income level and status.
Yes. Well, primarily the program is designed to support families who would meet the federal poverty guidelines. So we do service low-income families for the majority. The families who are over income usually are families with children with special needs, because that is another part of our selection criteria, is that we service children with special needs.
Okay.
So we do service some families, but for the majority, we have our low-income families that we support.
And now there's a real family component to this because you also work with mom and dad, right?
Absolutely.
Definitely.
So that's where my role kind of comes in.
Oh, okay. All right.
So to just kind of walk everyone through, once the application process is done, the families would have to do what's called a mandatory parent orientation.
Okay.
And during that time, the families are involved. Get to know the program wholeheartedly as far as what we have available, what our role as, there's different components, as Anna was sharing, because we're such a comprehensive program. And so we as family case managers would work with families to find what are their strengths, what are positive things about their families. We know that there are some challenges that may be occurring within their household, but we want to recognize the families and move forward on what are their positives, and based on what is their strengths, how we can continue to make them move forward. We want to make sure that their basic needs are taken care of: food in their mouth, clothes on their backs, roof over their heads. And with that, families open up to us and want to create goals, like wanting to go back to school, get their GED, wanting to get their degree in a certain field. It's just being in the role that that I've been with. It's 4 years now. It's so eye-opening to see when you work with families who are capable people. they can just amaze you. I
Yeah.
mean, you would never know that they have hidden talents that they're great at. I mean, and you know, it makes them have that comfort knowing that their children are being taken care of, and that stable place for their child, and then knowing that their child also is going to get a breakfast and a lunch, and even, you know, for those all day programs, a snack.
Yeah.
I mean, that really makes a difference.
It really
And
does.
So, you know, working with the families, we focus on their strengths. We build upon that. We want to support them through any kind of crisis that they may occur during the school year.
So is this like in a classroom setting? Or are you working one-on-one with
We
the families?
actually go to the family's home. It's
Oh,
called
wow.
a home visit.
That's
So
great.
we schedule with the families, you know, we're going to meet with, you know, when's a good time to meet. We'll go with them to the home. And the first thing we say is, we're not here to like mahoi at your hale and report you guys.
Right.
All we're here to do is basically, you know, come sit down in a comfortable setting where you're comfortable at and just kind of talk stories, get to know you. We have what's called the Family Partnership Agreement Plan that, you know, basically guides us to get to know the families a little bit more and find out, like how I said, what are the strengths, as well as maybe what are some of the needs that the families may have.
challenges.
And exactly, and work with them from there. We also help families as far as getting to know, I guess, we started the school readiness program, school readiness goals with the families. And it's basically families being able to pretty much support their children in the skills that they feel are important for the child to have by the time they get to kindergarten. And so as family case managers, we'll provide them like with information or even a little training should they need those kind of supports.
Oh, that's great. And it's not just mom and dad, it's whoever is active in the
In the
home
household,
when you're
yeah.
there.
Could
So-
be grandma, grandpa,
Uh-huh.
could be auntie, uncle.
Uh-huh.
You know, we also service foster parents. So, I
Wow,
mean,
great.
foster children.
Uh-huh.
And we work with the foster parents as well. Even if they're receiving services through child welfare services, we still have that opportunity for them to work with.
So once they come into the program now, how long are they in the program? Is it 1 year, 2 years, 3 years?
It depends.
Okay.
If they come in as a 4-year-old, then they're only in the program for 1 year, and then they move on to kindergarten. If we accept them as a 3-year-old, then they will go 1 more year in the program, so as a total of 2, and then move on to kindergarten. So it can be up to 2 years of age.
And
2
do
years.
you find that there's an increased benefit for the children that are in there for 2 years?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
They go through the same routine. Sometimes they come in at a very because they're 3 years old, they're still a little bit immature. So they need that extra year to be able to learn the skills of sharing, the skills of maybe even potty training, fully potty training, you know, and the teachers will support the children who are potty training. So they have that additional year to be able to learn the skills that they need before they move on to
Yeah,
kindergarten.
that's great.
Do the parents ever get called to come in and help in the classroom?
Families have the opportunity to do it, and we highly encourage. I mean, we have so many different opportunities for the families to be involved, going on field trips with volunteering, going on field trips with the children, volunteering being in the classroom, volunteering taking stuff home to do at home for the teachers for the next day in the classroom. We have parent work days. I mean, we also have monthly parent meetings where parents are actually involved as pretty much committee members. They vote in a president, a vice president, secretary, a policy council rep. I mean, it's really a good opportunity for the families, as I shared earlier, to advocate for their child and have their voices heard.
So it's a learning experience for the whole family.
Right. And does each school, you know, you were saying you have a lot of different schools, a couple on Molokai, one on Lanai. Does each school have their own like subcommittee of parents?
Absolutely. Each center have those committees.
Okay.
And then that policy council that I had shared, there's one representative that there's an alternate as well, but there's one representative that each month they'll come to what's called the policy council meeting, and they'll all meet up with each other. And during that time, you know, they'll do a lot of a lot of things that Anna can share, but the main thing is also to share what are they doing within their classroom as well. And I know a lot of my families take away that as far as, hey, did you, this is what this center did, and hey, can we do that? And it's a really good opening for the families. But that's just part of it. I mean, Anna's going to share a little bit more.
And we found that parents who participate as policy council representatives or alternates, they become big advocates on behalf of the whole classroom. And so they take the information that they come and listen to at the policy council meeting. And at the policy council meeting, we share a lot of information, because Head Start is structured in a way that parents have to be part of the approval process for grants. They have to approve new hires. If
They're really involved.
Yes, they are.
Wow,
So
that's
they're
great.
very much informed of what's going on in the program. They learn about the budget, where do we stand on operating budget, on salaries.
Wow.
And so every month they get an update of where we are with the program, what kind of, if there is a grant that needs to be approved, or if we are going to go for another grant, they need to be part of that approval process.
I see.
And so they are the ones that will take this information back to their center and share it with the rest of the families. And so they become very big advocates, and not only for their child, but for their whole classroom as a whole. And they take a lot of pride and ownership for that. So, and that's something that we definitely foster and we encourage. And so it's really, really great to see. And as a matter of fact, we have one staff member who was a parent. She went into the classroom. She was, as a parent, she was policy counsel. She became a big advocate. She went into the office, got, just keep getting promotions, and then went into the office, became a family case manager, and now she is the disability mental health
Wow,
specialist.
that's great.
Or I should say manager. We just got title changes.
Oh, cool.
So, we see that progression in our families, and we are definitely support that and try to guide them as much as we can.
Yeah,
towards
that's
that path.
incredible, because it's clearly not just a learning experience for the children. That's a huge learning opportunity for the parents
Growth
too.
opportunity for the
Yes.
parents.
For
Yeah.
sure.
Now, in these 13 centers, if I remember the numbers correctly, you're talking about like 298.
298.
How does that compare to how many people or how many kids are? I did it again. Say kids. Children are out there who should be going.
Well, we have a very extensive wait list. On a yearly basis, we are looking at about at least 300 children on the wait list.
So double.
Yes. So
If we
know
had a magic wand,
Yeah.
we would open up.
Right. Well, now that's
Much
what I was
more.
leading up to. The governor's been doing a lot of talking about early childhood services and how he wants to. I think it kind of fits in with what Mike was talking about, the tax that they're talking about trying to do on sugar in sodas. As part of that revenue would go towards enhancing early childhood.
Yes.
And would that have an impact on you? Would that maybe give you opportunity to open more centers?
It definitely gives us opportunities. We would have to see where this is all going, but we're definitely talked about, possible opportunities for us in the future. So yes.
Do you know when Head Start started in Maui?
1965.
1965, and that started with one center.
I'm not
I
sure.
I was just wondering how much you've grown since.
I know that we were right across from Foodland. That was the main office, the main MEO office, and they did have one classroom. I don't know if they started with 2 or 1, but it started from very small, and now we've increased, and we have 200. We service
and it's always been
298.
MEO.
It's
Head
always
Start.
been MEO.
And 65 is when MEO was formed.
Okay.
As part of the war on poverty.
That's right.
and that's when Head
legislation.
Start was started as well. So I mean,
It was all part of it.
Hand in hand.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, President Johnson signed all that into legislation and got this whole thing started. And now we're looking at perhaps our governor is trying to. Perhaps we know he wants more,
Yes, he's working very hard at that.
and he's named a special person in his not only in his cabinet, but that
Terry
Yes,
Locke.
Terry
reports
Locke.
to him. Yeah.
She's a big advocate on behalf of early childhood.
So I'm sure that your director, Debbie Amaral, is probably right in the middle of all those things that are
yes.
going on.
Yes,
So
yes, and I'm sure she's keeping in communication with Terry Locke.
right,
Yeah.
right.
So,
Well, Go ahead.
Oh, well, I was just going to remind listeners, if they didn't catch the beginning of your segment, you have your application. The deadline is coming up, or you're starting your program?
Nope, we're gonna start accepting applications
You're just starting accepting. Okay, great.
for next school year. So we're gonna start accepting applications this Friday, starting this Friday, February 1st. Families, parents or legal guardians will need to come into the office to complete the applications. The applications are accepted Monday through Fridays between 7:30 a.m. and 3:30 p.m., except for our state and federal holidays. We're located at the MEO Family Center, which is at the 99 Mahalani Street in Wailuku, behind the Cameron Center. Again, if you applied for your child last year, you will need to come, and your child was placed on a wait list, you will need to come in and reapply for your child. Documents that's needed is your child's birth certificate, income information, and any additional documents such as your UHMC's class schedule, legal guardianship documentation, and custody documentation.
And the more of that you bring with you initially, the less often you have to come back to complete the application.
And if anybody has any questions, please give us a call, and our number is 249-2988. Again, 249-2988.
That is great. So if you think you qualify, or even if you just have a question, please call
Definitely.
or stop in. These lovely ladies are more than willing to work with you.
And so how long is open enrollment then?
So open enrollment is going to actually be for the rest of the year. But
Oh, I
what
see.
happens
Okay.
is we start the selection process in May. So we encourage families at least by
Gotcha.
April to come in and complete whatever is incomplete. But May we start our selections. By June they'll receive a letter, and basically they'll be informed whether or not their child was selected or waitlisted.
Oh, it's all a great opportunity. So thank you to all of our listeners for joining us today. We're wrapping up today's show on Maui Nonprofit Notes. This show is sponsored as a community service by Pacific Source, the builder's choice. If you are building or remodeling your home, please stop by their showroom in the Waikapu Base Yard. The Maui Nonprofit Directors Association's mission is to provide personal and professional support to nonprofit executive directors, their organizations, and the community of Maui.
And I want to put in a quick plug for the Nonprofit of the Year award. The small business awards are coming up from the mayor. And nonprofit organizations with 50 or less employees can be nominated for this. And if you want more information, check on the Maui County website or stop by the Maui County Business Resource Center. Nominations are due by February 11th, so you do have some time, but not a whole lot. So
Right. Recognize your
if
favorite
you're,
nonprofit.
Yeah, if you're working as a volunteer or as a staff member for, well, I guess a staff member can't because that'd be self-promotion. Yeah. If you're working as a volunteer for some non-agency, join in and nominate them and get them on that list and see if they can win that Nonprofit of the Year award. Yeah, as you said, we visited with two nonprofits today. We had Mike Morris from the Maui Family YMCA, Kamiki Carter,
Good job.
and Ana Vasconcelos from MEO's Head Start program. For those of you out there who are listening, if there's any of these organizations that we talked to that you'd like to volunteer for and get involved with, please do so. Call them, check our website, MauiNonprofitDirectors.org. We'll see you next Wednesday.
Aloha.
Aloha, everyone. Have a great week.